There are numerous psychological traits and behaviors that can indicate a lack of inner strength. While everyone experiences moments of weakness, consistently displaying certain behaviors can signal deeper emotional or mental vulnerabilities. Recognizing these patterns is the first step toward growth and self-improvement. In this script, we will explore 7 key psychology facts that may indicate you are a weak person. These insights are not meant to criticize, but to offer guidance on how to identify and address these weaknesses. A clear sign of emotional weakness is the constant need for validation from others. If you regularly seek approval from friends, family, or colleagues to feel good about yourself, it can signal a lack of self-confidence. This behavior often stems from low self-esteem, where external praise becomes a necessity to maintain a positive self-image. Rather than trusting your own judgment, you rely on others to affirm your worth. People with strong emotional resilience, on the other hand, derive their sense of worth internally. They trust their own instincts and feel content without needing others to validate their actions or decisions. When you constantly seek validation, it shows that you are not fully confident in who you are, which can make you dependent on external opinions. This dependency often leads to anxiety, especially when the validation you seek isn't forthcoming. Without external approval, you might feel lost or unworthy, which can create a cycle of self-doubt and insecurity. As a result, you may struggle to make decisions on your own or feel uncertain about your achievement. The need for validation can also lead to people-pleasing behaviors, where you compromise your own needs and desires just to receive approval. Over time, this pattern of seeking validation from others weakens your sense of self. Building inner strength requires practicing self-affirmation and learning to value your own opinions above others. Breaking free from this cycle begins with recognizing your own worth, independent of others' opinions. Cultivating self-confidence is essential for developing emotional strength, as it allows you to trust your abilities and judgment without needing external confirmation. Another sign of weakness is avoiding confrontation. If you tend to shy away from difficult conversations or refuse to address problems directly, it suggests that you fear conflict and discomfort. Rather than dealing with issues head-on, you may prefer to ignore them in the hope that they will resolve themselves. This avoidance behavior often leads to unresolved issues festering beneath the surface. Avoiding confrontation usually stems from a deep-seated fear of rejection or disapproval. People who avoid confrontation are often afraid of being disliked or losing relationships if they assert their boundaries or speak their minds. However, in doing so, they may sacrifice their own needs and well-being just to maintain the status quo. Over time, this avoidance can lead to resentment and frustration. When you bottle up your emotions, the pressure eventually builds and may result in passive-aggressive behavior or emotional outbursts. Avoiding confrontation may seem like the easier option, but it ultimately weakens your relationships and personal well-being. In contrast, emotionally strong individuals understand that confrontation, when done respectfully and thoughtfully, is a necessary part of healthy communication. They don't shy away from difficult conversations, but approach them with the goal of resolving issues and fostering understanding. This openness to addressing problems head-on strengthens relationships in the long run. Learning how to engage in constructive confrontation is a crucial step toward emotional strength. It allows you to assert your needs, set boundaries, and resolve conflicts without fear of losing relationships. Confrontation doesn't have to be negative. It can lead to growth and deeper connections when handled with care. Weak individuals are often easily manipulated by others. If you find it difficult to say no or regularly feel pressured into doing things you don't want to, it's a sign that you lack strong personal boundaries. This inability to assert yourself makes you vulnerable to manipulative people who exploit your kindness or indecisiveness. Manipulative individuals often prey on those who are emotionally weak, knowing they can bend their will. Whether it's at work, in friendships, or romantic relationships, weak people struggle to stand their ground. They may feel obligated to please others or avoid conflict, making it easy for others to control their actions or decisions. This susceptibility to manipulation not only affects your self-esteem, but can also lead to toxic relationships where your needs are consistently ignored. When you allow others to take advantage of you, it reinforces feelings of powerlessness and inadequacy, further weakening your emotional resilience. To overcome this, it's essential to develop strong boundaries and practice assertiveness. Saying no when necessary and standing up for your own needs is a critical part of emotional strength. Recognizing when someone is trying to manipulate you and taking steps to protect yourself is crucial for your mental and emotional well-being. As you build emotional strength, you'll become less susceptible to manipulation. With time, you'll learn to trust your instincts and stand firm in your decisions, ensuring that your actions align with your values and well-being rather than someone else's agenda. Excessive people-pleasing can be a sign of emotional weakness. If you constantly put others' needs above your own, you may be driven by a fear of rejection or a desire to be liked by everyone. While it's natural to want to be considerate of others, when people-pleasing becomes a habit, it can lead to burnout, resentment, and a weakened sense of self. At its core, people-pleasing often stems from a lack of self-worth. You might believe that your value comes from how much you can do for others, so you go out of your way to accommodate everyone's needs, even at your own expense. This behavior often leads to emotional exhaustion and frustration, as your own needs are neglected in favor of others. Additionally, people-pleasers often attract individuals who take advantage of their kindness. When you're always saying yes, even when it's inconvenient or harmful to you, it creates an expectation that you'll always be available to meet others' needs. This imbalance can lead to toxic relationships where your generosity is exploited rather than appreciated. Over time, excessive people-pleasing weakens your sense of self-worth. You may find yourself feeling unfulfilled or resentful because you're constantly giving without receiving in return. To build emotional strength, it's important to set boundaries and learn to say no without feeling guilty. Balancing kindness with self-respect is key. Emotional strength lies in knowing when to help others and when to prioritize your own well-being. By setting healthy boundaries, you protect your emotional energy and ensure that your kindness is given freely, not out of obligation. Indecisiveness is another major sign of weakness. If you struggle to make even simple decisions or frequently defer to others, it suggests a lack of confidence in your own judgment. Weak individuals often fear making the wrong choice, leading them to avoid decisions altogether or rely on others to guide them. This indecision often stems from self-doubt. When you lack confidence in your own abilities or fear failure, making decisions can feel overwhelming. As a result, you may become paralyzed by fear of the unknown, choosing to stay in a state of inaction rather than risk making a mistake. Over time, this pattern of indecision can prevent you from growing or reaching your potential. Every decision, whether big or small, is an opportunity to learn and develop. When you avoid making choices, you miss out on these opportunities, which stunts your personal and professional growth. Decisiveness is a key trait of emotionally strong individuals. They trust themselves to make the best decisions they can with the information available, and they're willing to accept the consequences of their actions, whether positive or negative. They understand that mistakes are part of the learning process and don't let fear of failure hold them back. Building decisiveness requires practicing self-trust and learning to act even when you feel uncertain. It's about understanding that no decision is perfect, but that taking action is better than being stuck in a state of hesitation. With practice, you'll develop the confidence needed to make decisions swiftly and confidently. Weak individuals often avoid taking risks, preferring to stay within their comfort zones. This fear of the unknown prevents them from exploring new opportunities and limits their personal and professional growth. Risk-taking is an essential part of life, And without it, you miss out on valuable experiences and chances to improve yourself. The fear of taking risks is usually driven by a fear of failure or judgment. Weak people worry about the negative consequences of taking a risk, so they choose the safe, predictable route instead. While this may offer temporary comfort, it ultimately keeps them stuck in a stagnant place, unable to grow or evolve. Strong individuals, on the other hand, understand that risk is necessary for growth. They embrace challenges and view failure as an opportunity to learn. Rather than fearing the unknown, they take calculated risks, knowing that even if they fail, they'll gain valuable insight that can help them in the future. Risk-taking requires a certain level of confidence and resilience. It's about trusting yourself to handle whatever comes your way, whether it's success or failure. Emotional strength is built by pushing beyond your comfort zone and embracing uncertainty. To overcome the fear of taking risks, start by taking small, manageable risks in your daily life. As you gain confidence in your ability to handle challenges, you'll become more comfortable with taking bigger risks and pursuing larger goals. Constant complaining without taking action is another sign of weakness. If you often find yourself complaining about your circumstances but doing nothing to change them, it reveals a passive mindset. Complaining can become a habit that reinforces feelings of powerlessness, as it focuses your attention on problems rather than solutions. Weak individuals often use complaining as a way to vent their frustrations without taking responsibility for their own lives. Instead of finding ways to improve their situation, they dwell on what's wrong, which perpetuates a cycle of negativity. Complaining may feel like a release, but it ultimately weakens your resolve. It can lead to a victim mentality, where you believe that you have no control over your circumstances. This mindset prevents you from taking the necessary steps to change your life, as you become more focused on what's wrong rather than on how to fix it. Over time, this negativity can drain your energy and motivation, leaving you feeling stuck and helpless. Emotionally strong individuals, on the other hand, recognize that while life may present challenges, they have the power to take control of their response. Instead of wasting energy on complaints, they focus on actionable steps to improve their situation. Even when faced with obstacles, they maintain a problem-solving mindset, looking for ways to overcome difficulties rather than dwelling on them. Breaking free from constant complaining requires a shift in mindset. Start by recognizing when you're complaining, and ask yourself if the issue is something you can change. If it is, focus on creating a plan to address it. If it's outside of your control, practice acceptance and redirect your energy toward areas where you can make a difference. By replacing complaints with constructive action, you'll build emotional strength and resilience. Over time, you'll find that you're more capable of facing life's challenges with a positive and proactive attitude. Complaining may feel easy in the moment, but taking responsibility and acting on your challenges is what builds lasting strength. Recognizing these 7 psychological traits can help you identify areas where you may be lacking in emotional strength. Whether it's seeking constant validation, avoiding confrontation, or being easily manipulated, each of these behaviors reflects an underlying vulnerability that can hold you back from personal growth. However, by acknowledging these weaknesses, you take the first step toward building inner strength and resilience. Emotional strength isn't about never feeling weak. It's about recognizing your vulnerabilities and working to overcome them. By addressing these traits, you can begin to develop greater self-confidence, assertiveness, and the ability to navigate life's challenges with more grace and resilience. Growth comes from self-awareness, and the path to strength starts with understanding where you need to improve. Ultimately, building emotional resilience requires patience, effort, and a willingness to confront your fears. As you work on these areas, you'll find that you become less reliant on others for validation, more capable of handling confrontation, and more willing to take risks. Over time, this journey of self-improvement will lead you to greater emotional independence and a stronger sense of self-worth. Everyone has the potential to grow stronger, emotionally and mentally. By acknowledging these signs of weakness and working to address them, you're paving the way for a more empowered and resilient version of yourself. The key is to take small, consistent steps toward improvement. And with time, you'll find that your emotional strength is transformed. Remember, it's never too late to start this journey. Embrace the process, stay committed to personal growth, and gradually, you will cultivate the emotional strength needed to thrive in all aspects of life.